What is up, Daddies? You know, I get really excited every time I get a chance to talk about anything Walking Dead. And right now, we're going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead for the very first time. Uncharted territories, much like the show is going to experience. So, right now, let's just talk about everything we know so far about Fear the Walking Dead. Obviously, that isn't too much because everything has been kept pretty secretive throughout the production. We know the show's coming in August. We don't even have an exact premiere date yet. So, as far as we can, we're going to talk about everything we know. First of all, where will the show take place? We know it's going to take place in Los Angeles. That's on the opposite coast from where The Walking Dead takes place, and it's 2,000 miles away. And that means it's going to be a completely different environment. If you've ever been to Los Angeles and you've been to Atlanta, you know they're very different places, especially on the outskirts of Atlanta in the small towns of Georgia, like we've seen on The Walking Dead up until they got to Alexandria. It was all small towns. Los Angeles is insanely populated. LA people, you know what I'm talking about. That traffic, that's because there's so many people. If you've ever flown into LAX, you see nothing but houses. I love LA, but it's overpopulated. So that's going to be a lot of zombies, a lot of chaos. It's exciting. Now, when will Fear the Walking Dead take place? It's going to take place in the early days of this outbreak, when Rick Grimes is in a coma. That means that it's going to show the anxiety and the anticipation of the impending outbreak, the zombie apocalypse, and everything leading up to it. Now, Kirkman has said that eventually it's going to catch up and run concurrently to The Walking Dead, but there will be no overlapping. At least there isn't anything planned. So now let's talk about the characters. Cliff Curtis is playing Travis, one of our main players. Maybe he'll be like the Rick Grimes of the show. Or maybe Madison, who we're going to get to in a second, could be a female version of Rick Grimes in the show. But we have Travis nonetheless, a high school teacher and divorced father who's dating Madison. Then we have his son, Chris, played by Lorenzo James Henry, son of Travis and Liza, Travis's ex-wife. And he is really mad at his dad for divorcing his mom. Then we have Madison, Travis's girlfriend, and they're moving quickly to being husband and wife, but will they get there in the zombie apocalypse? Who knows? Who knows if they'll even make it through the first season with the way these shows are written. She's also a high school teacher. She's a widow. Her husband died, and she has 2 kids. Her kids, Alicia and Nick. Alicia is a high school standout. She's a brilliant student. She seems like she has no problems in the eyes of her brother Nick, and Nick is a college dropout. So they're not going to see eye to eye very well. Then we have Liza is going to be played by Elizabeth Rodriguez, Daniel played by Ruben Blades, and Ophelia played by Mercedes Mason from Chuck. There's not very much details on these characters yet, but as for the relationships regarding the other characters, we can tell a little bit thanks to Robert Kirkman spilling some of those beans. Travis and Madison, they're a happy couple. They're faithful to each other, and that's something we don't see very often on television anymore. There's usually some sort of love triangle or cheating or lie. They're going to be a team. Now, Madison is, Kirkman has described her as being this strong woman. She's equipped with the skills for the zombie apocalypse because she's adapted to tragedy through losing her husband, and being a school teacher has taught her how to be resourceful and ready to go. Now, the relationship between Travis and his son is going to be interesting, and Kirkman has also said that Travis is going to have a bit of a dark side, maybe, like a mysterious side, because stuff is going to come into light that's going to maybe throw off this relationship between his ex-wife or other characters. That'll be fun to see. And then Madison's children, the dynamic between those two has been described a little bit because Nick really sees his sister, Alicia, as having no problems, as being this smart girl, this basically a show off, I guess, is going to be the way he's looking at her. He's living in her shadow, maybe, and he's a college dropout. But some of her real problems that he doesn't see are going to come to light throughout the show. So that's pretty much what we've got. It's going to be the early days of the apocalypse. It'll eventually catch up to The Walking Dead. All new characters set in Los Angeles. There are some rumors about casting characters, but for now, I'm just going to leave them as rumors because I don't really like to spin that wheel. I'm just going to keep my hands off that until it's all official. Are you excited for Fear the Walking Dead? Let me know on Twitter at BrennanDavisBD. I love talking about this stuff. I love hearing from you guys. Make sure you subscribe to Comicbook.com's YouTube channel for more news, interviews, and clips, and follow us on Twitter at Comicbook.com so you don't miss any news. As soon as we hear it, you hear it. See you guys.